After defeating the Red Dragon, the outsider god marveled at Kang Hansu's impressive skill and praised him, bringing Kang Hansu great joy. However, their joyful exchange was abruptly halted by the dragon's unexpected interruption, leaving Kang Hansu shocked. He questioned how the dragon could still be active despite having its head severed. As the dragon gazed at Kang Hansu, it wondered how someone of Kang Hansu's level, a mere level 1, could defeat it in a single strike. Kang Hansu retorted that he too was a level 1. The conversation between Kang Hansu and the subdued dragon was suddenly disrupted by Diaroka, who was irritated at being used as dragon bait. In the midst of this, the knight reappeared, surprising Kang Hansu, who had believed the knight to have perished in the dragon's attack. The three of them engaged in banter, only to be interrupted once more by the dragon's exasperation at the situation, being defeated by a non-heroic human of such low level. Kang Hansu consoled the subdued dragon, explaining that such occurrences were not uncommon, but his words only further annoyed the dragon. In a final act before passing away, the dragon raised its head and cursed Kang Hansu for the humiliation it suffered. At that moment, Kang Hansu's status window suddenly manifested, revealing a newly acquired C-rank curse named King's Wrath. Upon witnessing this, Kang Hansu was consumed by intense fury. Diaroka, who observed the unfolding scene, remarked that the occurrence was remarkably astonishing, given the proud nature of dragons that seldom acknowledge defeat. Contemplating this, Kang Hansu approached the deceased dragon and forcefully stomped his foot upon it, urging it to awaken and retract its curse. As these events unfolded, the outsider god spun with exhilaration, while Kang Hansu, recognizing the helplessness of his situation, collapsed to his knees, his eyes brimming with tears. He realized that despite his efforts to eliminate a monstrous threat to the nearby humans, he had ended up burdened with another curse. In light of this, Kang Hansu resolved to examine the curse's details. Upon opening his curse status interface, he discovered that whenever his life faced peril, enraged dragons would be summoned to assail and eliminate him. Observing this, Kang Hansu's annoyance grew, but his inner monologue ceased as he noticed Diaroka's smiling countenance fixated on her status window. Intrigued by her reaction, Kang Hansu inquired if her happiness stemmed from his acquisition of a new curse. Diaroka swiftly dismissed such a notion, clarifying that her elation was due to her own newfound blessing. Kang Hansu, taken aback, urgently beseeched her to reveal her status window. Upon witnessing the contents of Diaroka's status, Kang Hansu's astonishment intensified. He realized that she had received the King's Wrath blessing, a stark contrast to his curse, which summoned protective dragons when she faced danger. The revelation left Kang Hansu dumbfounded. His attention shifted to the knight, whose abrupt head movement caught Kang Hansu off guard. Fueled by a mixture of annoyance and distress, Kang Hansu hurried toward the knight, his expression reflecting his emotions, and inquired whether the knight had also received the same blessing. Upon confirming the knight's similar blessing, Kang Hansu sank to his knees, his voice tinged with frustration, questioning why everyone else seemed to be bestowed with blessings while he alone bore the weight of curses. After a brief span of time, we find Kang Hansu in considerably better spirits, observing his slimes attending to the dragon's remains. Despite a tinge of annoyance at relinquishing the entire dragon, he acknowledged that he had no alternative. Accepting responsibility for the dragon's demise might bolster his reputation, but it also carried the risk of attracting attention from the kingdom or the malevolent goddess. Amid these contemplations, his focus was diverted by the resounding chants of the city's inhabitants, praising the knight as their savior from the dragon. Amidst the throngs of people, the knight rode on horseback, carrying the dragon's head, and glimpsed Kang Hansu and Diaroka observing from a distance. Later that evening, the knight engaged in a conversation with Kang Hansu and Diaroka, expressing a sense of indebtedness to Kang Hansu. In response, Kang Hansu downplayed his role, prompting Diaroka to translate his words to the knight. Kang Hansu instructed Diaroka to convey his desire for his reward for slaying the dragon to be used for restoring the city to its former state and aiding the families affected by the dragon's attack. Diaroka faithfully translated Kang Hansu's intentions, and as the translation unfolded, Kang Hansu detected a shift in the knight's expression. Suspicion led him to question if Diaroka had conveyed his words provocatively, to which she playfully confirmed that she had rendered his words accurately. Amid their banter, Kang Hansu observed an anomaly, a cloud-like formation in the air. Gradually, a skeletal dragon materialized, leaving both Diaroka and the knight astounded. Kang Hansu, however, remained unfazed, casually remarking that the newly arrived skeleton dragon appeared smaller than the recent encounter. Diaroka proceeded to explain to Kang Hansu that the physical manifestation of a dragon's soul harboring animosity towards him had been summoned. Kang Hansu's demeanor remained unchanged upon learning this information. Exuding an aura of menace, he noted that he had dispatched the living dragon with ease and regarded the skeleton dragon as inconsequential. The setting transitions to a grand arena, poised for the commencement of the Heroes Tournament. As the heroes are unveiled before the enthralled audience, the Saintess steps forward to address the crowd. Meanwhile, the event's distinguished guests engage in conjecture about the potential victor of the tournament. Amidst these proceedings, the focus shifts to Arya, who conceals herself behind Eubora. Puzzled by this behavior, Eubora queries Arya about the situation, prompting Arya to reveal that her mother is observing from the VIP seat. Upon seeing this, Eubora encourages Arya to be brave and not hide, so her mother won't be disappointed. Arya becomes motivated by Eubora's words, which excites Eubora. Arya then asks Eubora what she would do if she saw another hero in potential danger during the tournament. Eubora quickly responds that she would help them without hesitation. Arya isn't surprised by Eubora's answer and smiles, noting that Eubora is indeed strong. Eubora blushes and mentions Kang Hansu, saying he would have given the same answer. Arya queries Eubora about her statement, seeking clarification. Caught off guard, Eubora swiftly returns to the present moment, dismissing her remark as inconsequential. Arya playfully responds with a mischievous grin, sensing the underlying implication. At that very moment, the Saintess announces the commencement of the tournament. Some of the other heroes are taken aback by how swiftly the tournament is starting. However, Choi Gangmin and his teammates quickly make their way towards a waiting carriage. As they reach the carriage, Choi Gangmin shares the news that he had prepared it in advance, which fills his peers with excitement. Boarding the carriage, Choi Gangmin slyly considers his companions idiots, encouraging them to follow him as a united front while secretly planning to defeat all the orcs himself. As the carriage ventures into the forest, Eubora and Arya trail closely behind, followed by Jang Mian and her comrade in their own carriage. With the heroes on their way, the Saintess is suddenly approached by her attendant. The attendant informs her that the Red Dragon King, Alcazar, has appeared in the northern city of the Kingdom of Knights. Stunned by the news, the Saintess questions the accuracy of the report. The attendant confirms that the description matches the accounts in the literature, leading her to definitively conclude that it is the very same red dragon that she had subdued a century ago. Upon hearing this confirmation, the Saintess recalls her past actions, acknowledging that she had indeed slain the red dragon with the assistance of a hero 100 years ago. She had been certain of the red dragon's demise and is surprised by its unexpected reappearance. Upon hearing this, the Saintess's attendant raises the question of whether the gods might have resurrected the red dragon. The Saintess dismisses this possibility, expressing doubt that the gods would take such action without clear reasons, especially while being entertained by the ongoing tournament. Contemplating the matter, her expression changes when she recalls Kang Hansu, leading her to an astonishing realization. She speculates that the gods supporting Kang Hansu, responsible for blocking the goddess's tracking, might also be behind the red dragon's resurrection. Inquiring why her subordinate hadn't informed her earlier, the Saintess makes a swift decision to proceed to the location. However, her subordinate interjects, revealing that the red dragon has already been defeated and brought under control. Startled, the Saintess queries who could have achieved such a feat. Her attendant admits uncertainty, lacking further information, but notes that the dragon's breath was thwarted by a single knight. Letting out a relieved sigh, the Saintess dismisses the possibility of the red dragon's involvement, as the red dragon king's breath is far more formidable and cannot be halted by a lone knight. With this clarification, she concludes the conversation, opting to revisit the topic at another time, as their focus needs to be on the ongoing heroes competition. The focus now turns to Oh Han-woo, another participant in the heroes competition. We observe as he approaches several carriage owners, seeking a ride, but is met with repeated refusals. He is shocked and puzzled by the villagers' unwillingness to assist him, despite his hero status. At that moment, a particular god asks Oh Han-woo if he plans to give up, to which he firmly replies in the negative. Suddenly, Julian approaches Oh Han-woo, inquiring why he isn't heading towards the plains for the tournament. Oh Han-woo is irritated by the fact that he can't see the Julia's status window, but he responds that he intends to go to the plains with his special blessing activated. With the help of his special blessing, Julia offers him a ride, which Oh Han-woo gladly accepts. Without hesitation, he mounts her horse, and she instructs him to hold onto her tightly, to which he eagerly complies, gripping her waist and entertaining the thought of recruiting her as a party member. The scene shifts back to the northern city, now in ruins. The knight and Diaroka lie seriously injured on the ground, with Diaroka bewildered by the dire situation. Amidst this chaos, Kang Hansu appears enraged, questioning the perplexing predicament he finds himself in. A few moments prior to that, right after the sudden appearance of the skeleton dragon, Kang Hansu swiftly managed to defeat it within a matter of minutes. However, a sudden activation of his outsider blessing and King's Wrath curse brought about an abrupt change. This activation resulted in the summoning of a multitude of skeleton dragons, all driven to eliminate Kang Hansu. As some of these skeletal creatures launched attacks at Kang Hansu, one of them caught the knight off guard, striking him with force and propelling him backward into a wall. Weakened and unable to counter, the knight's King's Wrath blessing was triggered, giving rise to a fresh skeleton dragon that was resolute in safeguarding him, much to the knight's astonishment. This newly summoned skeleton dragon swiftly engaged with the other, initiating a clash of the skeletal creatures. Meanwhile, amidst the ensuing chaos, Kang Hansu stood bewildered, grappling with the bewildering turn of events. At that particular moment, the focus shifts towards Diaroka, who is seen engaging in combat against some of the dragons. However, her energy eventually depletes, and she finds herself overpowered when one of the dragons crashes into her. It is in this crucial instant that her own King's Wrath blessing is triggered, summoning a skeleton dragon to come to her defense. As these events unfold, Kang Hansu becomes acutely aware that if he doesn't take action, the entire city could be reduced to ruins. Determined, he readies himself for a potent assault and charges headlong into the tumultuous fray, fully prepared to put an end to the chaos in a single decisive strike. After an entire day of unrelenting battle, dawn finally breaks, revealing that Kang Hansu has managed to vanquish all the skeleton dragons. With Kang Hansu's slimes diligently managing the remains of the skeletal creatures, Diaroka approaches him, expressing her astonishment at the unprecedented events that transpired the previous day. Curious, Diaroka turns her gaze to Kang Hansu and inquires whether he might have any insights into the occurrences, considering that the King's Wrath curse that the dragon bestowed upon him shouldn't be triggered so haphazardly. In response, Kang Hansu speculates that he may indeed have a reason for this. Unlike the gnolls who acquire their powers through consumption, Kang Hansu gains his abilities by expending his life force, which is subsequently restored to its normal state due to his outsider blessing. Consequently, whenever his life force is nearing depletion just before it's reset to normal, the King's Wrath curse is activated. As Kang Hansu contemplates this matter, he comes to a firm realization that the King's curse likely possesses a threshold for summoning skeletons, but he suspects this limit is also reset by his outsider blessing. With a disbelieving sigh, Kang Hansu acknowledges that he must exercise control over his powers to prevent the reckless activation of the King's curse in the future. Redirecting his attention to the skeleton dragon's remains, Kang Hansu ponders the best course of action. Suddenly, he turns towards Diaroka and instructs her to handle all the bones, much to her surprise. As they discuss this matter, their conversation is abruptly interrupted by the knight who approaches Kang Hansu in a hurry. The knight urgently requests Kang Hansu's presence at the academy, accompanied by his son. Perplexed, Kang Hansu relies on Diaroka to translate the knight's words, leading her to explain that the knight wishes for Kang Hansu to accompany his son to the academy. This unexpected request leaves Kang Hansu astonished, while the outsider god appears excited. Conveying the message, Diaroka translates for Kang Hansu that the knight has extended an invitation for him to visit his home as a token of appreciation for Kang Hansu's crucial role in ending the dragon. Though initially taken aback, Kang Hansu graciously accepts the offer, deciding to depart the scene before any further commotion unfolds. Later that same day, the knight escorts Kang Hansu and Diaroka to his grand mansion, leaving Kang Hansu astonished by its immense size. Gazing at Diaroka, Kang Hansu inquires about her presence alongside them. She explains that she's there to assist with translation. In response, Kang Hansu assures her not to worry, reminding her of his successful conversation with the prince during their dinner encounter. Diaroka's unmoved expression gives way to a piercing glare as she remarks that Kang Hansu's very competence in handling such matters is what has branded him a fugitive. Amidst these interactions, at the entrance of the knight's mansion, a young boy peers at them from a window, bearing a subtly cunning expression. The scene transitions, and we find Kang Hansu sharing a meal with the knight and his family. During the dinner, the knight expresses his desire for Kang Hansu to accompany his eldest son to the academy. It becomes clear that the knight wishes Kang Hansu to guide and assist his eldest son, who had dropped out from the academy, rather than his younger son who already has a partner. In essence, the knight is requesting Kang Hansu to take care of his eldest son and attend the academy together. Upon hearing this proposition, Kang Hansu promptly agrees to the offer, much to the delight of the outsider god. The knight and his wife also display excitement and convey something to Kang Hansu, which Diaroka translates as their intention to win Kang Hansu over with financial incentives. In response, Kang Hansu queries Diaroka if she altered the translation's essence, to which Diaroka explains that she merely omitted unnecessary details. This prompts Kang Hansu to let out an incredulous sigh. Diaroka then boldly approaches the knight and conveys a message from her master, Kang Hansu. She tells the knight that Kang Hansu wishes to see their incompetent son's face, referring to the son who avoids company when guests are present in the house. The expressions of the knight and his wife swiftly shift upon hearing this, leading Kang Hansu to question Diaroka about her statement. Diaroka responds nonchalantly, describing it as an expertly crafted translation with a touch of cunning. Later that same day, Kang Hansu finds himself in a guest room, reclining as he reflects on the day's events. Rising to his feet, he gazes at Diaroka and inquires whether she possesses any information about the academy. In response, Diaroka provides Kang Hansu with an explanation. She details the existence of 4 academies established by humans to train warriors to counter their adversaries, the demons. These academies primarily teach aggressive tactics, emphasizing violence, yet despite this focus, many of their graduates remain feeble. As a result, these academies have transformed into hubs for networking and cliques. Their conversation is abruptly disrupted when the knight's eldest son, whom Kang Hansu was meant to accompany to the academy, bursts into Kang Hansu's room with a sword in hand, visibly irritated. Upon his entrance, the young man directly confronts Kang Hansu and launches into a tirade of seemingly nonsensical speech. Observing this, Diaroka proposes translating the boy's words for Kang Hansu, but Kang Hansu declines, asserting that he can grasp the gist without the need for translation. Emitting an ominous glare, Kang Hansu rises to his feet, determined to rectify the young man's behavior, given that his father entrusted him with the task. Kang Hansu proceeds to unleash a flurry of punches, squarely aimed at the young man, ultimately rendering him unconscious. However, this action leaves Kang Hansu somewhat startled and anxious as he questions whether the blow might have been fatal. Diaroka reassures him with a smile, explaining that the attack wouldn't be lethal since the young man is a level 13. In an instant, the young man regains consciousness and swiftly flees the scene with tears in his eyes. Yet, his escape is abruptly thwarted by Diaroka's swift attack, causing him to lose consciousness once more, much to Kang Hansu's frustration. Gazing at the young man's state, Kang Hansu finds himself pondering the situation. An idea strikes him, and he recalls the dragon bones he handed over to Diaroka. He urges her to return the bones, intending to use them to send the young man back to his parents along with the dragon bone as a form of appeasement. The focus then shifts to the knight, who is taken aback by the sight of his son in such a disheveled state. Swiftly, a healer steps forward to tend to the boy, and he gradually regains consciousness once more. However, as soon as he awakens, the boy locks eyes on Kang Hansu and charges at him with evident anger, much to Kang Hansu's frustration. Recognizing that the boy has yet to comprehend his lesson, Kang Hansu unleashes a powerful surge of aura, triggering the activation of the King's Wrath curse. In an instant, a skeleton dragon materializes and envelops Kang Hansu. This sight terrifies the boy, causing him to tremble in fear. Kang Hansu promptly shatters one of the skeleton dragon's teeth, breaking free from its grasp. Turning his attention to the boy, Kang Hansu addresses him by his name, Tiker, and extends an olive branch, asking if they could become good friends.